are watching Supa TV, Open View, channel 150.
Hello and welcome to Mo Sports. Well, you're tuned into channel 150 on your open view coded Supa TV powered by Supa Bets. My name is Mo and I'm joined by our in-house sports analyst, Mr. OB.KNOWS himself, to debunk just exactly what went wrong last night, this morning, yesterday. Whatever time you are around the world watching us from, you might have seen that game either yesterday or today. Welcome to the show. Now, let's start it off with the Mo riddle before we get ahead of ourselves. But don't forget, before I give you the riddle, don't forget to SMS Supa TV to 30978. Today's Mo riddle is ahead to who will win the Euro 2020. I had a little conversation and I was like, the Mo riddle today needs to resonate with the champions of the Euro 2020 today. So we had a choice between two of the world's finest, but we went with the following gentleman. It says, an Italian former Italian former professional footballer and current manager of Guangzhou Club in China, a centre back. He spent a majority of his career in Italy. He started his career at Napoli before spending 7 years at Parma, then moving to Internazionale Milan, then Juventus before he transferred with Fabio Capello to Real Madrid in 2006. If you know who he is, he's a Galactico of note, a World Cup winner at that. If you know who he is, the number is 07162147746. If you don't agree with this men's national side being the champions of the Euro today, in your Mo riddle answer, just write Beckham. That's all we want to see. If it's not this guy, write Beckham. It's either going to give us the Mo riddle answer, former international footballer, played at centre back, played for Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Juventus. If you agree with us today, send your answer in as that. If you don't agree with us and you think it's going home and it's not going to Rome, then just say hashtag Beckham and write your reason why. The number is 07162147746. Obi knows how you doing.
Fine, thanks yourself, Mo.
I forgot to check your pulse when you walked in. I'm as shocked as you are, but what should the people expect on today's show?
Well, on today's show, we'll be talking a little bit about what happened last night in the Copa America. We'll also be looking forward to today's match, the big one, of course, finishing off the weekend with the Euro finals. But before we do that, we're going to jump straight into CAF competition.
Well, all we know is 100% correct. We're talking about the CAF Confederations Cup final. It played yesterday. What a match it was indeed. Now, let's start it off. All we know is who are the champions?
Ah, boy. I told you yesterday who the champion's going to be. I've been saying it since the season started, since the CAF season started, since they beat Orlando Pirates. It was pretty obvious to me who the strongest side was in this competition. It was Raja Casablanca, and they did it I would say in style, but they started off pretty good, but ended up having a red card throughout the game. They won the game by 2-1, so it was a big win for them as well. They're the first Moroccan club to ever win the CAF Confed twice. So yeah, it's a big achievement for the club, despite the fact that they're not playing in CAF Champions League this season. At least they managed to pick up the CAF Confed this time around.
All right, let's do us both a favor. If you've SMS Supa TV to 30978, let us go to the website together. Don't forget, once you've SMS and you've done the registration, you can go on this website right here. Let's see how it looks. Obi-Knows, take me to it. When we arrive, let's go straight to statistics. Match info, statistics, Obi-Knows. Let's go to statistics right there. Let's start by going to soccer. Let's go straight into the international clubs. Did it hit you again? International clubs, my leader. International clubs. See? We must change. CAF, he's already there. He's already talking about the Euro. We're not there yet, Obi-Knows. We'll get there. Now, let's go to the match. There it is, the final. Let's go see it. Let's go do the head-to-head and see how it happened. In full time even. Didn't even waste no time at all. Now, let's go down to the bottom and let's talk about the events of the game. Within 14 minutes, it was already a 2-0 lead for Raja Casablanca. But just before, on the cusp of halftime, then Kabila scored their one goal. And it was a very tense affair going into the second half of the game. I know that this is not giving us much detail, but I kind of saw that, ironically, the reason I was bringing you guys here is because I wanted to discuss how Raja Casablanca pulled it off. Now, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Kaizer Chiefs made it to this stage of the CAF Champions League without dominating possession, without dominating shots on target. And here are the champions of the CAF Confederations Cup. They didn't dominate any stat except the goals.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, where you're looking at, you just in the final, you just want to play to win, you know. And it's been said that form is not what counts when you're coming into this final. But we looked at the form, and Kabila were in much better form than Raja Casablanca, you know. So we kind of anticipated Kabila to bring the game towards them, and they did that, you know. But quality overall, you know, you look at the goals that Raja Casablanca scored, poor defending from Kabila as well. I think they also made sure to catch them very early in the game, which was positive for Raja Casablanca, and they managed to hold out. Although they got the red card later on in the second half, they still continued to hold out Kabila's attempts to come and get an equalizer.
So that red card comes around the 84th minute. It was already like just 6 minutes of the game left. But what hit me the most, knows, Raja Casablanca only had 33% of the ball. Yeah. Now, I saw that stat and I was like, I can't wait to talk to Obi knows about this because, I mean, in the final, you're looking at their form. You were right. I mean, in their last 4 games, they've not picked up a single win. The only win they picked up in those last 4 was a penalty win over Pyramids. But they didn't have the form coming into this game. Yeah. They had losses after losses after losses. And you look at Kabil, they haven't lost in their last 4, coming into this game with great form. But Obi knows 33% of the ball. Is that what we need to become champions in world football?
Well, let's go out Kaizer Chiefs, my guy. I mean, you know, they did it very well against the Wydad Casablanca, showing that sometimes, you know, you need to know what your strengths are when you're facing up against your opponents.
Yeah.
You know, when you're coming up against stronger opponents, it's much wiser for you know to sit back and allow them to have the ball, allow them to do what they want to do with the ball. But once you get it, you need to make sure that your chances count. And I'm glad that Raja Casablanca actually came out the blocks to get the 2 goals and sit back. You know, because had it been a bit different, had they not taken those chances, then we could have been, you know, probably talking about something different. But at this point, Raja Casablanca did what they had to do, and they did just about enough to be able to win this trophy.
All right, Obi knows we've discussed enough about what's happening in the CAF Champions League. Let's move on to the Egyptian Premier League. So let's go see what's happening over there. Obi knows, talk to me. What's happening with Al Ahly at this moment in time?
Well, they're playing again. They're playing the 4th game now in between their last game, which was in the CAF competition, the semi-final. So in between the CAF semi-final and the final, they've played about 4 fixtures. And Kaizer Chiefs, of course, they've been sitting at home. You know, they've been training, of course, since Stuart Baxter joined the club. They've possibly been, you know, preparing themselves for this clash. But, you know, in the other side of the world, you know, in Egypt, rather, Al Ahly are trying to catch up, you know, with the games that they've missed out in the league. So they've been having quite a heavy schedule, but in terms of a break, do they need a break, you know, going to this final? I don't know. The question would either be, is it a break that they need, or did they need match fitness, which is the big question right now for me. Did they need the games that they were playing, the competitive games they were playing, and able to measure up, you know, to the levels that is needed to be playing at a final? I don't know. I think they needed more games than they needed rest.
All right, let's go see what's happening in terms of their domestic form and also the points that they're chasing. Don't forget that Zamalek have played over 27 games while Al Ahly are only sitting on 23 games played. Let's go to the website. Don't forget to SMS Supa TV to 30978. This is how it looks once you've done that SMS and you arrive here on the website. Now, we are playing in the Super Stats website. Don't ask yourself, how did they get there? We went to statistics, we went to match info, then statistics, then we found our way here. So as you can see, 22 games played for Al Ahly at this moment in time and 2 wins in a row. But don't forget those 2 draws in a row put them in a situation that Obi knows explained previously on Mo Sports, saying that if they drop a single more point, they are behind Zamalek mathematically. So as you can see, 2 draws and 2 wins in their last 4, and they sit 48 points. That's a couple of points below Zamalek. Zamalek is sitting on 61 points. They try to secure Champions League football for next season. The goal difference not even looking that positive either, with Al Ahly sitting on 27 and while Zamalek is sitting on 30. I mean, these 2 teams are a whole world away from the rest of the league. I mean, at this point in time, Obi knows it's a 2-horse race. Everybody else is watching these 2 teams go for it. Let's go to fixtures. And then we arrive at fixtures. Let's scroll down. Let's go find the game that they played next. There it is. There it is under Zamalek playing. Okay, let's go to Al Ahly. Let's go check that head-to-head. All right, so as you can see, these 2 teams have met 19 times since the year 2011, so just the year after the World Cup was played and Spain were the champions of the world. 13 victories went to Al Ahly, with 2 victories going to Mesrelil and 4 draws between the 2 sides. But looking at the form, 92% form for Al Ahly coming into this game. They've drawn just once in their last 6 encounters. And don't forget, the reason why it looks like this, we saw in the league it was 2 draws back-to-back. They've been playing a continental competition and avoiding the league only till recently. So that's exactly why there's only one draw and those two wins coming right afterwards. So reading the 3 information points, we'll read only the Al Ahly ones. As you can see, it says Al Ahly haven't lost in their last 10 games, and it says Al Ahly have won a winning streak of 3 matches away from home. So let's put this away, OB.KNOWS, and talk to me about their chances of actually catching Zamalek in this race.
Very good. I mean, they've got very good chances, and we've been saying that, it's not really fair for Zamalek at this point. And Zamalek, actually, they came out, a couple of months ago saying that they are even thinking of, dropping out of this competition because they've set the bar, for Al Ahly, and Al Ahly now have a target to chase. So it was a bit unfair for Zamalek at that point. And I think at this point, they're also wishing or hoping that, Al Ahly can drop a point along the way. But at where we're at right now, they're looking very confident. They're looking like a team that can actually, pull out results, although they didn't seem like they had a very positive game in their last encounter, only scoring, in the last 15 minutes of the game. So I think it's more important for them to have a good run out from the first whistle of the game in the first half to at least, make things tense for the opponents, maybe get a goal in the first 15 to 20 minutes so they can also be able to relax. I mean, they're looking forward to that game coming up against Kaizer Chiefs, so they do need to be able to at least pull out some of those important figures in their squad so they can be able to get rest, before the game.
You asked a very key question at the start of the show. OB.KNOWS asked if does Al Ahly need rest or do they need more competitive games before they play the final against Kaizer Chiefs? So I'm gonna pose it back to you. I mean, as a sports analyst, as someone who watches football on a daily, do you think that the rest was going to be good for Al Ahly because all they've done is rest?
I think you're right by saying all they've done is rest. I mean, if you do remember that the period before the Euros kicked off, I mean, they were off. Al Ahly had a period of about a whole month of not playing games, although they had games that to catch up on. So I think at this time around, they're playing in a CAF final. So I do think that they stand a much better chance of winning it because they are match fit. First of all, they've been playing a very competitive football, in the Egyptian Premier League. We know that it's completely different between the Egyptian Premier League and the PSL, and the scale is completely different. So I think in terms of being match fit, they are up there. They're at the top of their game. For the fact that they are playing such tough teams and having to drag out results in the last 15 minutes of the game, I think it only makes them more ready for scenarios that could happen in the game. If Kaizer Chiefs can score the first goal, they'll know they have that mentality to be able to say, what, we've done this a couple of weeks ago. We played a team that didn't allow us to score in the first 85 minutes, but we can actually get a goal in the last 5. Yes. So mentally, I think Al Ahly are going to be in the much better space because they've been playing games. It's just unfortunate Kaizer Chiefs, I don't know if they've been playing some friendlies, to get the players, get the players going. I'm not sure if they've done that, but I think that would have been a positive thing for them to do, to be able to get the players match fit. I think Kaizer Chiefs are on the back foot with this one.
All right, so let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Copa America. I know half of you tuned in just to hear what we have to say about Messi being crowned the champion of South America. We'll be right back.
You are watching Supa TV, Open View, channel 150.
How to register a new SuperBets account. SMS Supa TV to 30978 and you will receive an SMS with a sign-up link. Click the link you receive, which will direct you to the SuperBets mobile site. Click login. On the pop-up, click register now. Fill in the required details on the form, from your ID number all the way to your contact details. Be sure to choose a strong password that you will remember. After filling in your details, click submit. In a few minutes, you should receive an OTP if your details were entered correctly. Back onto the SuperBets mobile site, type in your OTP. In a few seconds, you will receive a welcome SMS confirming your new account. A 50 Rand sign-up bonus will reflect in your account within 24 hours of your sign-up. Welcome to our family. SuperBets, bet with the biggest.
Sabawali winning ticket. Now ungapopa with SuperBets. Simply SMS Supa TV to 30978 and start playing.
You're locked into Supa TV, only on OpenView, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. If you're just joining us, well, you are at the right place to talk all things football. This is channel 150 on your open view code at Super TV, powered by Super Bets. My name is Mo, and this is OB.KNOWS, our in-house sports analyst, who has a lot to say about the Copa America, but we'll get to it just now. Let's give you the Mo riddle, and let's see if you know your football just as well as you think you know it. Now, I did say today's Mo riddle comes with a little bit of a condition. If you agree with us in terms of who will be the champion of Europe come the end of today, then you'll answer this riddle and you will then tell us who this Italian footballer is, in fact who this Italian legend is, and then you'll basically submit that answer to 0716214746. If you don't agree, simply just hashtag Beckham and then send us the reason why you're saying England are taking it home and it's not going to Rome. So if you've read the riddle, we can put it down. We are receiving your answers, and bottom of the hour we'll then be looking at who is submitting the correct answers and who is submitting the wrong answers. Don't forget, if you don't agree with the Italians, hashtag Beckham and give us the reason as to why you're saying that England are taking it home and it's not going to Rome. And don't forget to SMS Super TV to 30978. OB.KNOWS, when was the last Copa America?
In 2019.
I need to ask this question because I want answers, OB.KNOWS. I want answers. I want to know what happened, what went wrong. Because I don't feel like that final lived up to its potential, you know? And I remember watching it and thinking to myself, look, Argentina was in the champion in the finals of the World Cup on Brazilian soil. Not so long ago when Germany got crowned champions of the world, Argentina was the team they were facing. How did we not see this coming?
I think, first of all, it's the change of coaches. It's the change of coaches. Also, some of the players that retired from that time. I mean, like important players like Mascherano. You know, one of the important defensive figures in that team at the time. So I think that changed over time. You know, it changed over time. I think there was a little bit less quality in the squad compared to what it was over the years. So I wouldn't be feeling bad for not seeing it coming, because it's one of those things in football where you're looking at a team on paper, and you're looking at who they have and what they have at their disposal and the way they're playing coming into the tournament, and it didn't really look very good for Argentina at that point. So I think we can be mistaken for not having seen it coming.
I don't blame us, actually. I really don't blame us. Like, at this point in time, okay, first of all, let's talk about Brazil for a second, right? Last time Brazil came to an outing of this nature, we'll look at the squad on the website, but look, last time they came into the final of the Copa America, they had Ederson in goals, OB.KNOWS. Ederson was on the bench for this final. Ederson, we played in the last final where they won it. Thiago Silva was the man in the middle alongside Marquinhos, OB.KNOWS. As you know, Thiago Silva didn't feature in this game.
He featured.
Did he feature?
Yeah.
I'm touched. Dani Alves was there as well. Sandro was there at the back. Artur and Casemiro were the two men in the midfield. They had Gabriel Jesus, Philippe Coutinho, Everton, and Roberto Firmino up front. Now, you're looking at that lineup. That lineup is a lineup that won them the last Copa America. This time around, OB.KNOWS, there was no Liverpool 3.
Such your biggest concern. There's no Liverpool 3. Well, I would say the change in goals was the surprise for me. I thought coming into this tournament, Ederson would have been the number one, but clearly Ederson picked up, I think that yesterday was his third game of the tournament. I think it was his third game of the tournament while Alisson had only 2 games and Weverton had 1. So, the coach made a decision, and I think he decided to stick with it. If you're looking for pointers on maybe why he chose, to start with Ederson, I think, when the ball's on the feet, Ederson is pretty much the best goalkeeper when the ball's at feet, So I would say maybe that was one of, the biggest intentions, and maybe trying to start the ball from the back as well would have been very helpful having Ederson in there. So, there's probably different, qualities. These goalkeepers don't really differ too much, because Ederson, you can also have the argument in saying he's one of the best when the ball is at the feet, but we can safely say that Ederson is slightly just better. He edges him a little bit, but I would say it was a very difficult choice for the coach to make. It was not?
It's our money, so people. But let's talk about this right back, or full back from Argentina.
Montiel,
yeah, please talk to me about him. His performance.
One thing I criticized Argentina for, and one thing that made me say they would not win, the Copa America, was because of the defense. And I think, when you're looking at yesterday's game, firstly, Brazil didn't show up the entire game. I only managed to catch it in the second half, but when I did catch it, Montiel was brilliant on the right back, in the right back position. He made sure that he had Neymar in his pocket throughout the game. And even the coach, even Tite wanted to, the Brazilian coach, Tite, he wanted to make a change. and try and add more pressure, because to him it looked like he was the weakest link in the defense, because you're looking at who they have in the left back position. Argentina have Tagliafico in there, one of the best left backs, in Europe, at the young left backs in Europe currently. So the weakest link was definitely, the River Plate defender, the player who plays, in Argentina, so they tried to double up. He tried to double up and bring on Vinicius Jr., to try and have two players, covering in that left side of attack. Didn't really work, because Montiel, even when his ankle was bleeding and he didn't stop going, so it just shows you the resilience that the Argentine defense had throughout the game.
Do you know how many Vinicius exist in Brazilian football?
But did you see Vinicius?
Wait, hold on.
Did you see the difference?
There's like 3 Viniciuses that play in Brazilian football at this moment in time. Maybe when he was selecting Vinicius, he didn't think he was. That's why Vini changed his name to Vini Junior. Because in Brazil, it's like 4 of them. Maybe Real Madrid signed the wrong one. They were like, no, we want Vinicius, and then they got that one. They're like, wait, wasn't this guy
I saw the difference. I saw the difference.
All right,
when
I'm not
Vinicius
arguing that. Okay, I get you, Vinos. I get you. It's fine. Brazil won. Brazil lost. Argentina won. Let's talk to you about the stats. Let's go to the website. Let me go show you the numbers. What the numbers had to say about this game. Because when you see me like this, I'm shocked, my friend. Let me go show you. Maybe the numbers can explain as to what's going on. This is us throwing bones, trying to get an answer as to what went down. So let's go to soccer. Let's go to international. Let's go to that one. Obi knows couldn't sleep last night. People were like, Obi, we won it.
Hey, dog, I was up at 3 watching this final.
Everyone.
Sad.
Everyone was there trying to prove that my boy was wrong. It was not wrong. It was correct. Y'all were wrong. But let's start here. First of all, now Kaizer Chiefs fans, I'm trying to console you guys because look at the numbers. 44% possession went to Argentina. Those are the champions at this moment in time. They only had 4 shots, 4 goal attempts with 2 of them on target. So all they needed was 1 and they got it right. And as you can see, the other 2 was off target. They only had 1 corner kick. They were not being proactive, 25 free kicks. Let's go down. No offsides whatsoever. You can see there was no kind of penetrative play. That goal came early. So once they got it, Argentina sat back and said, look, we're not going to risk it. We learned our lesson against Germany. We get a goal. We chilled back. We let even Messi was defending. Can you believe it? Messi got a golden opportunity to make it 2-0. And Messi, of all people in the world, couldn't trap a ball and minus the goalkeeper. It was a lot. Let's go down, Obinos. As you can see, goal kicks 8. Goal kicks just say that they were really literally just getting the ball, kicking it back out because Brazil was applying all this pressure. 15 throw-ins, and as you can see, now let's start with the events of the game. Before we look at the events, let's go down, Obinos, go down. Grab the starting lineup, perfect. Edison, Danilo, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Lodi, Casemiro, Fred. Now, I don't have a problem with Casemiro, Fred. Everton, don't have a problem. Lucas Paqueta, don't have a problem. Who's the number 7? Where does he play? Can someone answer my question? Because Richarlison, really? But it's fine. As you can see, he's playing alongside Neymar now. I did just explain to you that the last time they came out to this level, the front 4 was Firmino, was Coutinho, was Everton, But now, all of a sudden, Richarlison is the man. He's benching a lot of big names here. Willian could have got there, made something, I don't know, but it's fine. As you can see, looking on the other side, a little bit more balance from Argentina this time around. It's the first time in my whole footballing career I've ever said more balance from Argentina. As you can see, world-class goalkeeper Martinez there, Romero was in there, Otamendi. There's someone I need to call up after this show just to talk to him about Otamendi being an international champion.
Oh no, he spoke to me.
Paredes, Lo Celso, Messi, Martinez, and Di Maria. Now, Di Maria is the man who got that goal very early on, a very key player. Let's go back to the events so we can hear what your friend had to say about the situation before we talk about Messi. As you can see, Fred got a yellow card in 3 minutes. Already, Fred was being a Manchester United player. Di Maria then got that goal after the DePaul throw-in all the way from midfield, deep in midfield. What kills me about that highlight is when Casemiro turns around and looks at the defense like, what are you guys doing? And I'm like, dude, why won't you not apply pressure on the man? But it's fine.
But Lodi.
We'll talk about it. Lodi also with that touch, terrible. Firmino then came in for Fred, which for me is like, okay. And then as you can see, a little bit of substitution from Argentina side, try to be a little bit more defensive, nyana, protect what we have. Lo Celso getting a yellow card, so he had to go. He couldn't stay inside. And then as you can see, Vini Jr. coming in for Everton. Obino saying that's a great substitution because Vini had a little bit more pace, as we know, a little bit more threat in terms of minusing players, which he does so great. But the end product is what I always have a problem with. And there's DePaul now making way up. I'm getting a yellow card. And as you can see, Lucas Paqueta, Lodi getting yellow cards, Lodi having to be benched, Paqueta having to be benched. It was a very intense game. It looked like most of the substitutions were being made to avoid red cards. And as you can see, it's Argentina versus, this is the El Clasico of international football. Let's put this away. When you know that the history of international football, you know that Argentina versus Brazil, all president in the, under the statue. It's going to be very intense, and indeed it was intense. Now, Obi knows. Any last thoughts before we carry on and talk about Lionel Messi?
I'm just disappointed in Brazil.
How could they have?
I don't know how they could. You know, I made the point that you know, maybe it was because the Maracanã was not full. But then you say that as well. But you think about the 7-1 they got, it was in front of a full Maracanã, you know. So pretty disappointed that they couldn't make it count this time around, you know, especially with the squad that they had. I thought they had a brilliant squad, very well balanced. It looked very impossible for, you know, Argentina to get the win. But I did say that should they get an early goal and sit back, that would be the only way. And I did say the goalkeeper, Emiliano Martinez, would be a very, very big figure in this game. But surprisingly so, Brazil didn't test him enough. Although you look at the shots on target and all of that, he was not really tested, to be honest. So I don't think Argentina, you know, we should take it away from them. I thought they gave a brilliant performance in terms of being resilient in defense, also making sure they got that early goal. So kudos to Argentina. They did really deserve to win it.
They really did deserve to win it, and it's a big problem when you look at the context of this competition. I mean, Neymar was the captain. You had the man leading Brazil from the front. He hasn't been able to do that for a very long time due to injuries and other things. But this time, it was his team, it was his name there up front. OB.KNOWS, he was not involved in the last time around when they played this competition and won it.
Yeah, that's one thing as well that made me, you know, question quite a lot of things, because you know, without him they still managed to go and win, you know, that competition. So the question could obviously be, is there so much you know, dependence on Neymar when he's there that you know, we're forgetting about the quality that we have all around the squad? That, you know, get the ball to Neymar, let's see if he can make a difference, you know. I mean, we saw it even towards the last minutes of the game. He tried to carry the ball from deep in the midfield, you know, carry it into the final third, but the Argentinian players were swarming around him. So I do think that there was a bit of more dependence on Neymar. And I should say that without Gabriel Jesus as well, that attack really looked very fearless. It looked very toothless, rather.
Yeah,
you know, they didn't look like they were going to do anything to hurt Argentina. And that's why I did say,
what are you going to do with Richarlison?
hey boy,
You must answer me that question.
score offside goals. That's what we do.
No, these ones are not the ones. But let's carry on and talk about Lionel Messi. I mean, everybody's waiting for us to give the account of the man.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the amount of trophies he's won. I mean, at this point, how many has he won? How many has Ronaldo won? Because finally, the GOAT chat has international trophies involved now. Yeah. And now Ronaldo, smart enough, he won the Nations League and the Euro. Now he has two. It's like, what? Like, I have two international trophies. You only have one. But let's see how many trophies both these guys have won so far in their careers, because we will never be able to live it. So as you can see, Messi 35 trophies with 2 international trophies to his name. And then on the other side, is this why you're asking me about gold medals, or no?
Yeah, that's why I was asking about gold medals, because
Olympic medal.
Yeah, because he won the Olympic Games in 2008. You know, so if you're checking for, you know, his how many trophies he's won, then I guess that should also count, you know, international level. So but he's got those too.
You need to bear in mind that also Ronaldo has been at this level way longer than Messi. I mean, 2-3 seasons longer than Messi, but he only has 32 trophies to his name. So let's put the website away, OB.KNOWS. I think now, before we continue and talk about the goals, I think the GOAT chat, right? We need to stop trying to make someone just a GOAT. We need to stop saying there's only one. These guys have owned a generation of football alongside each other, OB.KNOWS. They've been played so long. They've been the two main guys. To speak of one without acknowledging the other is a crime to football, because these guys have dominated world football for the longest time. I mean, I know there's Messi faithful. I know, you know, somebody said to me, they said, now that Spain has been knocked out, Barcelona B, they call Spain Barcelona B, like, now that Barcelona B has been knocked out of the Euros, all the Spanish fans have gotten onto a flight and they're going to South America to go support Barcelona C. So at the end of the day, Barcelona fans are still happy. Let's talk about the goal contributions, OB.KNOWS, before we continue our chat about the GOATs.
Yeah.
Who is the real GOAT? What goal contributions are we talking about, in the tournament or overall?
Well, we're talking about, you know, goals in terms. This is club competition only, excluding international competition. So of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, you did say that he's got about, you know, a season or two under his belt more than Messi does. As you can see, 894 games for him and only scoring 674 goals and getting 229 assists. While Messi, of course, has been the guy since the get-go. You know, 672 goals and 305 assists. That's a lot of goal contributions coming through from Lionel Messi. And somewhere where I read that, you know, what's more important, you know, is to have someone who can give you both goals and be able to assist. You know, so I don't know if that really does, edge it in terms of talking about who's the better player in between here, because, you look at Ronaldo, and I think one thing that I really respect Ronaldo about is the way he's transitioned into this player that he is today. I mean, this was not the Ronaldo we knew. The Ronaldo we knew was pretty much into Ronaldinho style of thing, do the skill on the side of the field, get the cross in, let someone else score. But Ronaldo has turned into this beast that, finds himself in the right positions. And I think that takes a lot of hard work on the training fields. And one thing that we actually have not been taking a look at is how hard Messi's working. We're always saying that Messi, Ronaldo's the hard worker. It's all about the branding, if you ask me. It's all about the way Ronaldo has been branded. He's this guy who gets, the nutrition deals, he's the one who's eating healthy always in the training. But one thing we don't always look at how hard Messi works, and Messi is a workhorse wherever he's working, So I do think that this conversation is still going to have a lot of legs.
It's not over.
It's not over. It's far from over. And the 2022 World Cup might be the defining one if any of them win it.
I think now the biggest thing is this. I always believe that the comparison is unfair. These guys serve two different roles, right? One is left-footed, one is right-footed. And when they start off their careers, they start on either side of the flank. I mean, Ronaldo was on the left, Messi was on the right, cutting in, that was their sole purpose. Now, as they've transitioned as players, Ronaldo has moved from the left into a centre forward position, into a second striker position, meaning that he's moved more forward, advances more into the box. That's why if you look at his stats, he'll obviously have more goals and assists because he's been the outlet for the goal, not the outlet for the assist. And that's why you always catch him when Real Madrid were winning those 3 Champions Leagues in a row. They were resting Ronaldo in La Liga games to play him as a centre forward in the Champions League games, and that's what worked so effectively for them. If you look at Messi's role, Messi has moved from being a winger into a second striker and moving into an attacking midfield position, meaning that he's moved a lot deeper than Ronaldo has. So both these guys, they serve two different purposes. All I will say is that Messi is to the eye, Messi is one of the most beautiful things to watch in world football. The way he moves, the way he picks up pockets of space, even the goals he scored, I feel like his show reel would be crazy if you were to look at his best goals of all time. Ronaldo on the other side, a workhorse, he doesn't get tired. I mean, the things that Ronaldo does, it's things that if you look at the things he does, it's more of an athlete. He's an athlete. He will outrun someone, he will outpace someone, he will shoot, you know what I mean? It's more, I can do this too if I worked as hard as him. With Messi, a lot of players can't do that. A lot of people will say, I can't do that. I can't just keep the ball to my foot like that. I mean, when Messi dribbles past people, it's like that ball is attached to his foot with a string. But let's take a break, and when we come back, hopefully this conversation will have moved on to the Euro 2020.
You are watching Super TV, Open View, channel 150.
Winners know when to pull out. Just SMS Super TV to 30978 and practice your pull-out game.
Big dog status, I'm a big dog vet. I pull up on the block in a big Corvette.
You're locked into Super TV, only on OpenView, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. Now, it's a very pressing matter that we've just discussed. We talked about the goats of world football, which is Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. But now we're moving on to Euro 2020 and see who will be the champions at the end of the day. But before I get carried away, welcome to the show. This is channel 150 on your open view decoder, Supa TV powered by Superbet. So if you don't have a decoder, don't despair. You can always watch us either on Facebook or on YouTube. It's easy as going on those platforms, searching for Supa TV and streaming our show live. Now, let me give you the Mo riddle because a lot of people have now submitted their answers. And when I see if they're wrong, they're right, or do they disagree or agree with us? Don't forget, if you agree that the champions of the Euro 2021 edition will be Italy, then you can answer this riddle and give us the Italian footballer that is being described in the riddle. If you don't agree and you're like, it's going home, it's not going to Rome, then you just say hashtag Beckham and give us a reason as to why you think that England will be the champions of Euro 2021 edition. Now, the number is 071-6214-746. Now, let's put the riddle away. Let's see the answer that people have now submitted. And here, OB knows his thoughts as the people write in. Do you think they'll agree with us and say Italy? Okay, the guy in the answer is Fabio Cannavaro, Luando in Philip, Cape Town. All right, Luando, we see. Filippi. Is it Filippi?
Yeah, Filippi.
All right, let's see if there's another answer. Fabio Cannavaro is the more riddle answer. Hashtag Bernard from Lesotho. All right, that's what everybody's saying Cannavaro. Are these guys sitting next to each other?
I think
Daniel from Cape Town. So no one is saying that hashtag Beckham maybe that means that it's going the other way. It's not going to Rome. So we all agree.
I'm proud.
So
I feel slightly better because, you know, like I've been saying, like this whole week, my guy, I've been doing predictions of like who's gonna win, and be like, yo, Brazil's gonna win, and you know, Italy's gonna win.
But we didn't see Di Maria coming. Like no one saw Di Maria
Like
coming.
he hasn't started a lot of games in this tournament. You know, this was probably the first game he started, dog. Like that's the question I was asked on Friday. Like, what about Di Maria? I'm like, but how am I supposed to answer that? Like Gonzalez is starting ahead of this guy.
Wow, secret weapon indeed, eh?
Definitely. Look.
But even that pass, I mean, like, let's be honest.
The Paul.
Even
the pass that they gave Messi.
Yeah.
The same guy, the Paul. He's
Yeah.
going to sign for Atletico Madrid. He's one to watch out for.
the ball, eh?
Yeah, Rodrigo de Paul.
But do you think that in that second where Messi like trapped that ball and he was thinking, there's a Copa America final, I'm in Brazil, the goalkeeper's on the floor, what must I do now? Like, I've watched Messi my whole life, man.
Chip goalkeeper stuck.
Like Messi has done amazing things throughout his career, but in that brief second, I feel like too much was going through his mind. He was like, I don't want to mess this up. I didn't think he even saw that pass coming.
Yeah,
he just made a run.
How it came out?
He just made a run, and then the pass was like, boom.
It was an unbelievable pass. Like, I'm pretty sure he was also surprised by the quality of that pass and how it came out. Because literally, Rodrigo de Paul was facing the other way, and he just, you know what I'm saying? And Messi was there, you know. And you know, I think it would have been such a huge moment had the counter attack from that led to a goal for Brazil.
Yeah, Messi would have been destroyed. He would have cried his tears out. But at the end of the day, Paul did the job.
Yeah.
But Lodi, by not trapping that ball proper,
Terrible.
or getting a proper touch on that ball, no, he gave Di Maria just. He sold Ederson for free, half price, you know, buy one, get one free. Because even Di Maria, I mean, that's Di Maria of all people.
There's no way he's going to miss.
There's no way he's going to miss. I mean, that's Di Maria. It's not just anyone. This guy's proved it to us. He's won the Champions League. It's not Higuain. You know, that's why he's in America living the best.
Did you see actually Higuain was trending? Oh, you're not a person who's on Twitter, but Higuain was trending yesterday. I'll tell you why.
Why?
Not because you have been saying he's better than Benzema. No. Because in the past 3 finals,
he's been the flop.
the man had 3 chances, boy. 3. 1-1 with the goals.
Okay, but Messi also had a big chance. If they had lost, we would be talking about Messi's big chance right now. But let's carry on and talk about Euro 2020, 2021. Start off. First of all, OB knows what sports are being played at Wembley. How many sports do you know that have been played at Wembley? I feel like everything is played at Wembley.
Yeah, well, they played football. Football, we play football in Wembley. But what else is played at Wembley? You know, they play a bit of rugby now and then.
Tennis.
You know? Tennis in Wembley. No, there's actually a tennis court close to Wembley. It's also called Wembley.
Yeah, next door.
Yeah, it's close by. It's also called Wembley. And then I think they also play NFL. I don't know if NFL plays at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium or at Wembley as well.
Yeah.
But the NFL does play. They play a couple of matches at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
So
I'm not quite sure about
this. Is this is the biggest game Wembley has ever
hosted. They
hosted.
also have concerts that take place there.
Exactly, but this is the biggest game Wembley has ever hosted. Yeah. This game is so big that right now the world is divided in 2, and it's quite clear who we're going with. We're all going with Rome, even if we're wrong. we cannot admit that we're going with it. I mean, at this point in time, it's quite clear that the world is like saying, no, we wanted to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Like everybody's saying that, except the English. The English are saying it's going home because they're English. Yeah. But everybody else from around the world, I feel like there's even Spanish Mo and OB there in Spain talking about, no, it's going to Rome. It's going to Rome. Everybody's saying it's going to Rome. What's wrong with England? Why does nobody want to see England prosper?
It's not that we don't want to see England prosper, né?
Yeah.
But one thing I've been saying is the English media. And I'll say this why. You do watch Gary Neville and Carragher, like everyone else does.
Those are the two guys,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On Sky Sports. And what does this guy say about the penalty? He says he doesn't care about the penalty as long as it's a penalty. What punditry is that? So because it benefits, England, because we English, it shouldn't have been a dive. It mustn't be a dive. Because we've been cheated years ago, it's okay for it to be a penalty. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that the English media has been, pushing down our throats. The fact that England has a better side in this competition, all these things, and you're looking at the easy run they've had, and the English media are saying, no, you can only beat what's in front of you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the English media has punted this tournament so much, and they threw it into England's hands without, the kick of a ball, and that's one thing that annoys quite a lot of people about England right now.
So now the funny thing is that this tournament was not supposed to be hosted in England in any way, shape, or form.
Facts.
Right? Now, yesterday I sent OB a video, right? This video, I picked it up on Sky Sports Retro,
yeah.
right? And these guys, basically, I don't know who this is from the FA. I don't want to point fingers. But this guy, literally, he said that we have a 10-year plan. And in that 10-year plan, we're going to get a coach who's playing coaching development, go coach the first team, because we want that development side to achieve something. And then in the Euro 2020, we just want to make it to the semi-finals, and we know that most of the games will be played in the group stages. Now, I'm not quoting him word for word, but the key thing was that he said most of the games will be played in the group stages at home, at Wembley. Knows this was not announced until recently after COVID-19 happened.
Yeah.
These guys already had this thing thought down.
It's really weird.
Because they're saying that this is what they said, semi-finals of Euro 2020, win World Cup.
That's what they wanted. That's what they thought they would, do. They get to the semi-finals of the Euros and then win the World Cup. But I think it's so confusing how they thought that in 2020, they would be the ones
hosting this thing.
Not hosting it, but also England will be playing majority of their games at Wembley. Like, how in their minds did it come together that, in 2020, we need to plan so that we play most of our home games, at home. Not saying that they planned out this whole thing of COVID and all of that stuff, but I do believe that there is a contingency plan for anything. There was a contingency plan for this tournament and how it would, take place if, there was COVID.
If a war was to break out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, my question would obviously be, did England buy into this? Did they buy into the idea that most of the games should be, played at home? I mean, Chiellini's complaining about it. He's saying that it's really unfair that some teams even have to travel like 10,000 kilometers to get to, Wembley. Why is it the case that England have played?
You guys are playing at home.
All their games at home. They're not even hosting the tournament. So so I do think that it's worth a lot of questions. We have to ask those questions because if we don't, then we're just letting it slide out like nothing happened. They need to answer to those questions.
Let's answer this question by going to the website. Don't forget to SMS Supa TV to 30978. Let's go there. Let's go see what we're talking about. Knows. Let's go to international, please. Right there. Let us go to there it is, man. That option is not playing with us. Now, go first to tables. Let's not start here. Let's go first to tables. Let's look at how England have gotten to this point. Now, first of all, I want to paint a picture of all the other group stages. Now, look at England's group. Czech Republic, Scotland, Croatia is the opponents they face in their group, right? Netherlands, Austria, Ukraine. You might think that's an easier group, but you're thinking that how did Austria finish in the tournament? They went almost all the way. Let's scroll up. Let's go see the other groups there. So my quarrel here, let's start from Group A. You're looking at Italy. They went through Switzerland and Turkey and Wales. Wales have Ramsey. They have Gareth Bale. It's not an easy side to put away. And they still managed to not concede a goal in the group stages against a Switzerland that had Granit Xhaka, Buma, Shaqiri, Seferovic. These guys played a good tournament. And a Turkey with a striker who was just confident out of just winning the French title over PSG. We went on and we saw Belgium play Denmark, Finland, and Russia. These are like everybody in their groups were not like they had a little bit of difficulty here and there. Now let's go all the way down, knows. All the danger teams except for Netherlands because they lost out on Van Dijk. Let's go down all the way to Group F. all the way down to Group F. Even Spain had a tough run with the Podolski in there. Not Podolski.
Lewandowski.
Yeah, Lewandowski in there. But look at Group F. France, Germany, Portugal, all in one group.
It's a group of that.
Let's put the website away up north. My question now, the issue that I have is that looking at all the bigger sides, they were pit against each other from the word go.
Yeah.
I mean, to have a group of dead like that, you're just pitting these guys against each other from the word go. They must then cancel each other out. And then look at the only difficult opponent that England could have faced was Germany.
And they had a clear run, eh?
And they faced them where?
in the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken.
At Wembley.
At Wembley, yes. I mean, yeah. Look, I'm not gonna have a question about the group stages and all of that. It could have also went
The other way.
Other way. England could have been the ones that were put into the group.
Germany
F.
could have finished them.
So I don't really have much to say. I don't have an opinion much on how the groups were selected. But after seeing that video, which I think we should actually bring to the viewers' attention at least tomorrow, what I've heard from that video is something that was pretty much planned. That's why I'm saying.
It sounds like a plan.
That's why I'm saying it seemed like there was a contingency plan that actually would give England the upper hand, because there's no way in a continental tournament that you're not hosting that you're gonna play 6 of 7 games at home when you're not hosting this tournament. To me, it doesn't make sense.
You know what? Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation, including making our best lip for Euro 2020.
You are watching Super TV, Open View, channel 150.
You're locked into Super TV. Only on OpenView, channel 150.
Welcome back to Mo Sports. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the Euro 2020, England's fortuitous appearance in the finals. It's just fortune. It's quinting fortune at this point. But Obi knows wanted to talk to us about the lineups.
Look, the lineups for tonight, it could be. I'm not quite sure how England want to line up tonight. But one thing we can say is that the biggest threat from the wings, Spinazzola, is not available for Italy. So I don't think they'll be trying to go with a bombarded back line of 5 or 3. However much you want to say 3 or 5, because naturally a back 3 is a back 5.
Of course.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Southgate will stick with his 4-2-3-1. I think he wants to cancel out the 3-man midfield in there with some very strong central defensive midfielders. I mean, if you've got Declan Rice and then you've got Calvin Phillips. You got a bit of hard man in there, who can be able to break down attacks. But the most important figure in this Italian side, in that midfield, would be Jorginho. You need to make sure that Jorginho doesn't get that opportunity to move the ball sideways. Although they don't have Spinazzola, they still do have the likes of Emerson, who doesn't play much at Chelsea, but I'm pretty sure playing in England against the English team, he will have a point to prove. And he's a much natural left wing back than he is a left back. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in terms of the selections of the squad. But in terms of England, I'm anticipating a 4-2-3-1.
All right, so here are my key players for this fixture, because at this point in time, what can we say? We have to then name our key players. My key players, Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling from England. Those are the two players that I feel like are going to be very dangerous in this match. One, because Harry Kane went through the group stages without getting a goal, and out of nowhere in the knockout phase, it comes to life, and exceptionally so. Raheem Sterling, this is his crowning moment. The tournament has been one of those tournaments where a player is starting to be recognized as a world great because of how he performed in this tournament. And then the two Italians, which is Insigne and Immobile. Both these guys are not very highly rated, but they've come to this tournament and they've made it their own in terms of the attack for Italy. I mean, Italy has always been known for their defensive prowess. Even in 2012, when they made it to the final, they were known for their defensive prowess and Mario Balotelli doing all the work alone. I mean, we forget the tournament, but Balotelli was the man doing all the work up front. I mean, even knocking out Germany. But this time around, they have a balanced front three, and look, those two guys are quite important. OB knows. Let's talk about your key players.
My key players for this game, definitely have to say that Chiellini and Bonucci, those two centre backs there for Italy, are definitely going to be very important in this game. I do think that the way that the combination between them three, I'll come back to that actually. Let me jump on to Chiesa. Chiesa, a brilliant addition into the Italian squad. Of course, at the beginning of the tournament, he wasn't the starter. Eventually he became the guy to start ahead of Berardi, and I do think that he has managed to showcase his abilities and quality going forward. And on the England side, for me, Raheem Sterling, like I did say yesterday, that if there was to be, if England do win this tournament, I do think that he receives that award of player of the tournament. I think he's been magnificent for England, been an important figure for the English national team in this tournament, carried them through the group stages, until Kane actually started scoring goals. So I do think that Raheem Sterling had a very decent tournament, and he would be awarded if he does win. But coming back to the Italian centre backs, I mean, you do remember that Italy was praised for that back three of theirs. They had Barzagli, that Chiellini. You know what I'm saying?
That's why.
And you're looking at the transition between the era of Nesta and Maldini and Cannavaro, and you're looking at who came in after Nesta and Maldini left. You had Bonucci coming in, you had Chiellini coming in as well. So I do think that looking at the generations of the Italian centre backs, there's always someone who's passing down the baton. Right now we're looking at Chiellini, passing it down to Bonucci. Bonucci might be surrounded by Bastoni and Acerbi, in the next few games, once Chiellini hangs up his international boots. And you're seeing that, after that, there's a new generation of centre-backs with Italian football. So I do think that, with all those Italian centre-backs, gelling on and learning how to play a certain way altogether, I think Italy really have a very strong defense for the future as well, not even looking at what they have right now, because what they have now is very solid, which is going to be very important for this final, but also for the future. I think Italians know how to pass on from generation to generation.
We might not know how to speak Italian, but we know a word called catenaccio. That's exactly what Obino is referring to, the defensive prowess that Italy has displayed over the years. So now let's quickly run to the website and make Obino's best slip. Real quick, Obino's, to the website, let's make this best slip. Chucks and J, chucks. Eish. Hurry up, Obino's.
I'm trying.
Hey. If these were the time that was Kotanis would be sitting here with some Ultra Mania. I mean, where are you registering to?
Oh, no. I'm not registering.
Let's put the website away. Clearly, Obino wants to register instead of making his best slip. So let's see if anyone has submitted their answers for the Mo riddle in the time it took for us to prepare for the website. So those are the three answers that people have submitted. So let's see. Do you think we should give them the answer? Oh, Obino is ready for us. Let's go to the website. Let's go make our best slip real quick. Log in, Obino's log in. Forgot to log in. You're trying to register now.
Register to vote.
Are you scared to put money on Italy? Is this your way of saying, guys, Capella Ingozi Khafar?
Boy, I'm not scared.
Go to price boost, boy. Same time.
Price boost.
Wait, we've already made this bet already. Because in the price boost, we made a 2-0 win to Italy.
Yeah,
so we're done. Let's put the website away.
Boy.
Okay, goal scorers. But goal scorers, who's going to score between the two? No, let's let it go. I'm not trying to play with my money like that. So let's just give the answer to the Mo riddle. Everybody who submitted an answer tonight was right. The answer is Fabio Cannavaro. This man.
Cannavaro.
World Cup winner, Ballon d'Or winner,
Capitano.
Nike advert winner. This guy's done it all in world football.
Yeah, no, this guy was the one. I mean, you know, he brought that only World Cup that Italy have. You know, and ever since then, it's not looked all too great for Italy. I mean, in the World Cup, you know, back to back, they got knocked out in the group stages. So, you know, they're probably very excited with this final. It's a very important final in Italian football history, you know, because of the struggles they've had to go through in between.
But
2006
2012 was a close call.
It might have been a very close call, but they didn't win it. And like they always say, you know, you don't always remember who the semi-finalist is. You know, you're always talking about how, you know, Spain managed to win it, you know, without a striker and all those chats. But, you know, all I'm saying is that, you know, Italy have come a long way, you know, and despite, yes, England's been, 55 years, like you said, you know, since they've got to this stage. It's equally just as important to the Italians, not more than it is to English, but it's equally important to them as well.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Tomorrow when we talk to you, there will be the champions of the Euro 2020 and we will discuss them and we will criticize and we will complain. So make sure you stay tuned tomorrow from 2 to 3 p.m. here on channel 150 or Supa TV, powered by SuperBet.
You are watching Supa TV, Open View, channel 150.
How am I supposed to know?
3. 1, 2, 3. What's the one in Pretoria?
It's Johannesburg, it's Pietermaritzburg, and Cape Town.
I know Pretoria, or as a capital city, since